That was a bizarre line to say. And I tried it so many different... I tried, this is Sparta. This is Sparta. This.
But I go, can I just try another one? That moment comes and I just go, this is Sparta!
Famous.
When people think about 300, the first image that comes to mind is King Leonidas standing tall, roaring the unforgettable line, "This is Sparta." That moment became one of the most famous scenes in movie history. Gerard Butler's powerful delivery not only defined the film, but also echoed across pop culture for years. However, what most fans don't realize is that behind that confident roar was a man enduring exhaustion, injuries, and mental strain. Butler has only recently opened up about what it really took to bring that moment, and the entire film, to life. The story of 300 is not only about brave Spartans facing impossible odds, it's also about the cast and crew who pushed themselves to extremes. What appeared on screen as stylized glory was, in reality, a process filled with pain, sacrifice, and relentless hard work. By looking deeper into the making of the film, we can understand just how much Butler gave to his role, and why 300 became a turning point in cinema history. This is not just the tale of a movie, it is the story of an actor who almost broke himself to embody a warrior king, and a production that changed Hollywood forever. When 300 was released in March 2007, hardly anyone expected it to become such a massive success. Directed by Zack Snyder and based on Frank Miller's graphic novel, the movie wasn't built on the safety net of A-list stars or traditional storytelling. Instead, it embraced a bold, stylized vision of the Battle of Thermopylae, blending myth, history, and comic book flair. The film leaned on hyper-dramatic visuals, slow-motion combat, and raw physical performances. Many in Hollywood thought it was too risky, too strange, and too far from mainstream tastes. But the gamble paid off in a way no one predicted. On its opening weekend alone, 300 earned an astonishing $70 million at the box office. Against a budget of only $60 million. From there, its success only grew, eventually pulling in over $456 million worldwide. Suddenly, studios saw that audiences were hungry for fresh styles and daring experiments. Business Insider and Wikipedia later described the film as a turning point for visual storytelling in Hollywood. What began as an uncertain project in a Montreal studio ended up rewriting the rules of blockbuster filmmaking. And at the center of it all was Gerard Butler, who carried the weight of King Leonidas on his shoulders, both literally and metaphorically, beyond its financial triumph. 300 became a cultural force in another unexpected way. It changed how people thought about fitness. The sculpted bodies of the Spartan warriors set a new benchmark for physical transformation in movies. Gerard Butler, leading the charge as Leonidas, inspired fans across the globe to chase the Spartan physique. Soon, magazines, trainers, and gyms began promoting the now famous 300 workout. This punishing routine involved high-intensity drills, weightlifting, combat training, and circuits designed to push the body to its limits. Outlets like GQ reported that the workout fascinated the public, sparking conversations about masculinity, discipline, and strength. Fitness programs inspired by the movie spread rapidly, and gyms even began advertising Spartan-inspired classes. Butler and his castmates had trained for months under extreme conditions, and audiences were now eager to follow their path. However, behind those chiseled physiques was a story of relentless suffering. For Butler in particular, the transformation came at a heavy price: pain, injuries, and a body pushed close to collapse. While fans admired the results, few understood the toll it took on the actors who lived through it. The harsh reality behind the glory. While the finished movie dazzled audiences with its painterly visuals and heroic energy, life on set was far from glamorous. Gerard Butler has revealed that the process of making 300 was filled with chaos, injuries, and constant physical danger. According to him, every day someone was being rushed to the hospital. Actors fought through exhaustion while swinging heavy weapons, often inside tight spaces surrounded by blue screens. Even though the swords and spears were dulled, they still carried huge risks. One actor nearly lost an eye when a spear slipped, while another suffered a fractured ankle during filming. Cuts, bruises, and torn muscles became part of everyday life. The fights looked smooth and powerful on screen, but behind the camera, they were repeated again and again until bodies gave out. Butler described how the set felt like organized madness, where the line between acting and real physical struggle blurred every single day. This was partly due to director Zack Snyder's approach. He wanted the actors, themselves, to perform much of the action instead of relying on stunt doubles. The result was authentic combat that looked raw and real, but the cost was high. For Butler, every battle meant scars, injuries, and days ending in total exhaustion. By the time the cameras stopped rolling, many of the actors were so drained that they could barely move. What audiences admired as heroism was, in truth, built on suffering. And yet, Butler pushed forward, determined to embody Leonidas, not just as a role, but as a true warrior king who led his men with strength and sacrifice. The suffering didn't begin on set. It started months before filming even began. In order to look and move like warriors, Butler and his co-stars were put through one of the most extreme workout programs Hollywood had ever seen. The training, led by elite trainer Mark Twight at Jim Jones, was brutal by design. Butler trained for nearly 7 months, often up to 6 hours a day. The sessions included CrossFit-style drills, heavy lifting, high-intensity circuits, and even combat simulations. Actors flipped tires, swung kettlebells, raced through obstacle courses, and fought with real swords to prepare for their roles. Between takes on set, they would drop to the floor for push-ups or lift weights just to stay camera-ready. This wasn't simply about looking muscular. It was about creating real strength, stamina, and the mindset of warriors. The 300 workout, which included 300 reps of exercises like pull-ups, push-ups, deadlifts, and box jumps, later became famous worldwide. Many fans tried it, but only a few could finish. Even Butler himself admitted that the routine nearly broke him. He suffered injuries like tendinitis, hip pain, and even a torn rotator cuff. At one point, his body was so damaged that he couldn't lift his arms. Still, he refused to quit. For Butler, playing Leonidas wasn't about pretending, it was about living the part fully. He even added meditation to his routine, imagining himself channeling the spirit of the Spartan king. This unusual practice helped him stay mentally strong through the endless hours of physical punishment. When filming began, the workouts didn't stop. Long days on set were followed by more training, keeping the actors in fighting shape. The pain never eased, but Butler believed that only by suffering could he give a performance that felt real. His sacrifice showed on screen. Every sword swing, every roar, and every look of defiance came from a man who had truly lived the discipline of Sparta. The harsh reality behind the glory. While the finished movie dazzled audiences with its painterly visuals and heroic energy, life on set was far from glamorous. Gerard Butler has revealed that the process of making 300 was filled with chaos, injuries, and constant physical danger. According to him, every day someone was being rushed to the hospital. Actors fought through exhaustion while swinging heavy weapons, often inside tight spaces surrounded by blue screens. Even though the swords and spears were dulled, they still carried huge risks. One actor nearly lost an eye when a spear slipped, while another suffered a fractured ankle during filming. Cuts, bruises, and torn muscles became part of everyday life. The fights looked smooth and powerful on screen, but behind the camera, they were repeated again and again until bodies gave out. Butler described how the set felt like organized madness, where the line between acting and real physical struggle blurred every single day. This was partly due to director Zack Snyder's approach.